Welcome back to the podcast. We're talking about the big old question, can he change? And here's the real question that you should be asking yourself. But before I get into that, I want to point you toward my brand new masterclass, Should I Stay or Go? This is a in-depth class to share more with you about the emotionally addictive patterning behind these relationships, and it shows you exactly where it is that you are stuck with making your decision without regret. To get that masterclass, head to the show notes to click the link, and the class will be sent right to your inbox. So the real question that you should be asking yourself, instead of can he change, is can I change my pattern, right? That is the question. Have you ever heard of the work of Byron Katie? This is something that I was exposed to many years ago. I mean, I've been on this path for so long now. I don't even know how many books I've read, how many methods I've tried, how much coaching I've done, programs, investments, all of that in my personal growth. So I am a woman that does believe in personal growth, investing, and definitely in mentorship to help me get to where I want to go. And usually it's ineffective to be going to your circle, your familiar circle, for advice when you're trying to 10x your life. When you're trying to move things forward instead of just incrementally inching forward painfully slow or staying stuck circling the drain, you go to the same friend that also doesn't have a happy relationship. You go to your parents who have toxic relationships or are divorced or have been married multiple times to other people. You go to your sibling that's single and can't keep a relationship together. You go to therapists that don't have the skill, quite frankly. They may have the degree, but they don't have the skill to guide you through. And so you're just like, what the fuck? I have tried everything. What else can I do? So this is where my process comes in, and this is what I work with my one-on-one clients, is through the emotional mastery piece of breaking the addictive component to these toxic relationships. The reason why you have to deal with this at the root is because you are far more likely to leave this relationship, and whenever it happens, a few months, a few years down the road, and you meet someone, the chances of that person being the same thing, just wrapped in a different package, same patterns, is exponentially likely because you have not healed your internal patterns and why to you rejection and scarcity around the attention they give and the consistency they give, the way they treat you, you don't have any standards for yourself, and your childhood attachment needs were not met. And so you are trying to get them met now, which is known as repetition compulsion in the psychology world. You're trying to work out your unmet childhood needs now with these men. And so until you really start to heal that and look at what happened to you when you were growing up, what environment were you raised in? And sometimes it's very clear, obvious things that have happened, like traumas or abuse. But it could be having a mother with physical or mental illness and you had to be the grown-up for the whole family. You had to grow up and be an adult really quick. You maybe had to leave a family environment that you weren't healthy and happy in at a very young age. And maybe you didn't have the stability, or you had a father that was very kind of gaslighty and invalidating and would say inappropriate or not very nice things, or you had a mother that was cold and intermittent, sometimes loving. The types of traumas that my clients have experienced are quite wide, and that includes sexual abuse trauma. I've worked with women who have had all of that come up for them on the other side of leaving one of these relationships. And so those women need really a secure, safe space and container to be able to unearth that stuff as it's coming up, and having me in their corner as they're working through this intense stuff. Because your unhealed abandonment wounding is one of the reasons why you stay hooked in this dynamic. And it is going to be what comes up for you when you leave and you break the emotional addiction component. And so the question here is, can you change the pattern? So whenever you're focused on him, can he change? Can he do this? Can he do that? Is he doing this? Is he doing that? Turn the focus back to yourself and ask, okay, so here I am again. There I go again. And something I like to call it is emotional sobriety. It's being able to take whatever is going on around you, turn the finger back towards self and go, okay, so what is going on here that I am avoiding in myself every time I leave myself to try and fix and control and change him? What do I need in this? So this is work to do. What I have seen is it's also work to do in a non-abusive relationship, because these patterns still exist within you. Even if you were to go on and meet up with a healthier man that has healthier behaviors and is open to, a conscious relationship where both are showing up in new and healthier ways, you're still going to have your patterns around, the codependency and the tendency to want to self-abandon or not speak up because of the things you've experienced before. This work is ongoing. It's not just about leaving this relationship now. It's about healing and then breaking up with this version of you so you don't keep repeating it. The sad thing is that some women will continue this pattern until the day they die. Some women will stay in a relationship until the day they die like this. A lot of times I've worked with women who have been in these relationships for 30 plus years. And so you have to ask yourself, what is it that you want for the rest of your life? This isn't a rehearsal. We have limited time here. And so do you want to spend the rest of this lifetime experiencing what you're experiencing? If it never changed, what would you do today? And if you are in a place where you can't see your way out, you're hustling and you're working and you're doing all the things, you're making the money, you're successful in your business or career, but this area of your life just continues to be the bottleneck for you, and you can look at it through your previous relationships that you've had or dating experiences, and they've all been similar things, different face, and you're done with it. And so my goal for women when they come to work with me, it's not let's get you out of the relationship, let's find a different partner, let's all these things and go no contact. It's about rebuilding, maybe for the first time, your relationship to you. And this is not easy work. It's uncomfortable. There's a growth edge. There's points in there where you feel like you're going to question yourself when you start reclaiming self, coming back to self. There will be people around you that won't fit this new version of you. This is life. It's very common for addicts, like drug addicts or alcoholics that are in recovery, will say the hardest thing of quitting their drug of choice is that they also had to give up their friends around it, because that was the association that they had. So an alcoholic that got their needs met with friendships were usually to go out to a bar or get drunk. And now that they are sober, they cannot be around those people anymore. Number one, it could be because they start pressuring and like, oh, come on, have another drink, or oh my gosh, oh, you're better than us now, or loosen up, like you only live once, that kind of stuff. So that goes to show you that, and this can happen with women leaving these relationships, or they're trying to go for more. They're wanting to start the business. They want to have a 6-figure business or more. They want to branch out in a new direction. So they go to the people around them that say, oh my God, you can't make any money doing that. Or, how do you think that's going to work? And so as you start to expand, you're going to see those around you. Either they will be at that level to rise with you, but a lot of times they're not. And it's not their fault. If you're the one that is evolving because you are listening to personal growth an hour a day minimum, like I recommend, you're taking courses, you're getting mentorship, you are looking at your life and you have goals and you have things that you want to achieve, and you know that you have a lot to offer. And yet here you are settling for bullshit in a relationship. And those around you, when you start expanding and you start changing who you are, so this goes back to the core premise of this episode, the question you need to ask, can I change my patterns? Because you are not changing your patterns in this. And this is why since day one that I started in 2019 talking about this, it is put the focus back onto self. And it's the first aspect of what you will do when you come in to work with me. So yes, there's strategy. Yes, there's things around, how do you leave in the best possible way? How do you build your foundation so that when you get out the other side, you don't have that intense emotional crash, that you've got the support system in place. All those things I help you with. But really, it's about what's coming up for you, And again, it's a lot of times we outgrow people around us as we're outgrowing our patterns, because our patterns are reflected in the people around us, and the people around us reflect our inner patterns. And this is not easy work. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say you're going to leave and everything's going to be roses. Maybe it will. Maybe there are those outlier women who are able to leave and just move on as if nothing happened and live happily ever after. But most women get out the other side and continue to struggle. And some of those women reach out to me, and some of those women take the leap and work with me privately to work on what's really going on at the root. And I can tell you, for the most part, it is all emotional mastery work. It's emotional liberation work that I do, and I have done since I first started my counseling practice. It was a holistic method, which I still integrate into my work and coaching now. However, there was a big piece around that on emotional mastery and emotional focused. In fact, I was obsessed with emotionally focused therapy when I was in school, and that was one of my most favorite forms of counseling that I went really deep in my training. And so this is what I do one-on-one with my clients. And I am taking clients this month on a one-to-one high-level basis. This isn't for everyone. It's for the woman who is ready to break this cycle for good, not just to leave the relationship and get out and cross that off the list, but you want to evolve into the type of woman that would never, ever settle for this ever again. And having someone walk with you through that is what I do with my one-on-one private mentoring. So if you want to apply for that, it's an application basis. You fill out a short application, and then if you are approved to the next level, if I think that you might be a fit, you will be sent the link to book in a 30-minute session with me so I can go a little deeper into what's going on for you and be able to recommend what I think would be the best way forward for you with your specific goals and your specific situation. Depending on when you listen to this episode, I may or may not have spots open at the time. I will put the link in the show notes of this episode so you can go ahead and have a look at what the service is, who it's for, who it's not for, and to apply. But if you happen to click the link and it doesn't go anywhere, or it's the spots are full, then you can just either get on the wait list, or you can Instagram message me coaching and it will start the conversation there. I just wanted to say that because some podcast episodes from years back have links that don't work. And because I change things up, or things change, or I stop offering something, or something fills up. And so I just wanted to say that here, that as long as this is active and I have spots, you will be able to apply. But when the spots are full each month, you will be put on a wait list. Okay? So that wraps up this episode, and I'll chat with you in the next one. Bye for now.